Hello, true believers, and welcome to episode 23 of the Mighty Marvel Mayhem Show. I'm your host, Kevyn Knox, and you know the drill. If you like what you see, click on the thumbs up, and if you're new here, click on subscribe. Okay, let's get going. In today's episode, we're going to look at the uncanniest of superheroes. I think you know who I mean. Of course, the Uncanny X-Men. Now, in a previous episode, we already looked at X-Men number 1, by the way, created by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby, who were the geniuses of the early Marvel age of comics. Well, today we're going to take a look at issues 2 and 3 of that epic comic. Now, the X-Men will become the biggest franchise in Marvel history, probably the biggest franchise in all of comics. But back in 1963 into 1964, which is what we're looking at today, it was a very different story. They were the new kids on the block. Not that they were really old kids on the block. Marvel had only been around for a few years at this point, but still, compared to the Fantastic Four or Spider-Man, they were the new kids on the block. And they were all new kids because they were all teenagers. Anywho, I'm getting ahead of myself. Now, throughout the years, the X-Men have had some great villains. Now, some of them, like Magneto or Apocalypse or Sinister or Mystique, were also allies at some times. And they're really all allies now in the new Jonathan Hickman storyline. But enough of that. Again, I'm getting ahead of myself. What I'm trying to say is, next to Spider-Man, the X-Men probably have the greatest rogues gallery of villains. Along with the aforementioned Apocalypse and Mystique and Magneto and Sinister, you have Sabretooth, you have the Juggernaut, you have Black Tom Cassidy, you have the entire Hellfire Club, you have the Brood, you have great villains. Well, in issue number 2, well, it's not one of those great villains. It's the Vanisher. That's right, the Vanisher. Now, the Vanisher, after this issue, vanishes. And he will appear every once in a while throughout X-Men lore. But even in his subsequent appearances, he never becomes one of the A-team villains. No. He's always just the Vanisher. In fact, he's so dull and so lackluster and so under-ordinary, I'm done talking about him. I wash my hands of the Vanisher. In my mind, he's vanished. Which brings us to issue number 3. In issue number 3, we get someone who is not a B or C or D grade villain. We get an A-lister here. We get Fred Dukes, aka the Blob. The Blob! And no, he's not just a big blobby fat guy. His mutant power is that when he plants his feet, he cannot be stopped. He's an unmovable force. Which makes it kind of tough for the X-Men to fight him in this issue. They managed to do it anyway. In fact, they're fighting an entire circus led by the Blob. They even fight a giraffe. I mean, come on, Bobby. What's the giraffe doing? He's not bothering you. He's a giraffe. He's slave labor in this whole battle. Let him alone. But anyway, they beat the Blob. But the Blob will be back. Unlike that other guy that I don't want to mention anymore, the Blob will be back and be back big time. He was a member of the Mystique's Brotherhood of Evil Mutants. He would become a member of the Corrupt Freedom Force. He's a big deal. Big deal, yeah. But what's more important in this issue, although the Blob is pretty important, is this lady right here. That would be Jean Grey, aka Marvel Girl. Now she will become the dream girl of the Marvel Universe. Every young straight boy or non-straight girl, or even the non-straight boys, everyone loves Jean Grey. Everyone has the hots for Jean Grey. Personally, back in my early days of reading comics, I was a Kitty Pryde kind of guy, more age appropriate, but still, Jean Grey is the big deal. And here we get to see a romance start to blossom between her and Scott Summers, aka Cyclops. Now others on the team, like Warren Worthington, the Angel, or Hank McCoy, the Beast, are also fighting for her affections. Bobby Drake, Iceman, does it a little bit too, but I mean, he does come out of the closet later as gay, so that's probably why he's not doing it that much. But it's Scott that Jean has eyes for. Scott Summers. Now, eventually, they will become a couple and be married. She'll die a few times. He'll die a few times. Things will happen. He'll be with Emma Frost. She's not really her. And he's not the only one that falls in love with her because Wolverine, that triangle between Wolverine, Cyclops, and Jean Grey is pretty big too. And nowadays, in the new Jonathan Hickman thing, there's some polyamorous thing going on between the three of them along with Emma Frost. And I think I'm getting hints of magic being involved in that polyamorous relationship too. But again, I'm getting way ahead of myself. That's the current issues going on right now in 2020. We're talking about 1964 here. Now, the romance between Scott and Jean is one thing. Then there's another much creepier thing happening here. Professor Xavier admits to himself, not to anyone else, that he's in love with Jean Grey, but he dare not tell her. Well, of course not. First of all, you're her teacher. Secondly, she's 17 years old. Xavier's got to be at least 35, probably 40 here. No, you probably shouldn't tell her. Kind of creepy, Charles. Kind of creepy. But anyway, I babbled on enough about that. We have a lot more to talk about with the X-Men, but I'm not going to get into that today because I'm just looking at issues 2 and 3. And we just looked at issues 2 and 3. And the weird love thing with Charles Xavier and Jean Grey. More on that later. But now the next episode we talk about the X-Men, we're going to be looking at Magneto and his Brotherhood of Evil Mutants. We're going to have the first appearance of a brother-sister team who start off as criminals and then become heroes and become two of the most important people in Marvel Comics history. But that's in the next episode about the X-Men, which, by the way, is not the next episode. The next episode, we're going to take a look at issues 2 and 3 of the Avengers. That's right. We're going to take a look at Iron Man, Giant Man, the Wasp, Thor, and even the Hulk, who's not really happy with his teammates in these issues. But that's the next episode. Right now, I'd like to thank you for watching this episode. You know the drill. If you like what you see, thumbs up. And also scroll down to the comments and let me know what you thought. And if you don't already subscribe to the Mighty Marvel Mayhem Show, and you know you should, click on that subscribe button. Just click on it right now. And tell all your friends, the more the merrier. That's it, gang. See ya in the funny pages.